Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing a GeForce RTX 3060 12GB model in Dragon's Dogma 2. This one is the Afox model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs here in Tech Power-Ups. GPU Z resizable bar is enabled as well. And over on the left, we're pairing it with a Ryzen 9 7950X3D with half of its cores disabled, so it's basically the same as a Ryzen 7 7800X3D, and 32GB of DDR5 6000 MHz RAM in dual channel. So let's get to it, shall we? Alright, first of all, let's go over the settings. I'm starting at 1080p resolution, and we're using the low settings preset. It's set custom up there on the preset because I made a couple of changes. I disabled motion blur as well as the chromatic aberration and so on, which was one of these things right here. Lens distortion, yes, there we go, chromatic aberration. So these are turned off because they look pretty bad, you know. And the game itself, it doesn't look very good at the low settings, unfortunately. As you can see, it's passable, I guess, but there is quite a bit of noise and aliasing on the picture right now, a lot of shimmering as well, and I have played for a little while now, like, what, 15-20 minutes or so, and I have already seen it drop from 60 FPS, guys, on a 3060, which is the most popular GPU on Steam, by the way, and it should be capable of getting, like, a 1080p medium or high settings experience just fine, but apparently, well, this game is way too intensive. Why? I don't really know. It doesn't really look anything special, at least on the lowest settings. The shadows flicker like crazy, and you can see the walls right there. The wood on those walls is moving. Like, what is going on? What is this? Oh my god. Now, Dragon's Dogma 1 was also not the prettiest thing, you know, when it came out in, like, 2012 or something like that, maybe a little bit later than that, I don't remember, but whatever. It's an older game, you know, and it didn't really look spectacular at the time of release, with very low textures, for example. I have actually played it recently on the ROG Ally, not on camera or in a video, but yeah, I was curious to see that. And this one, well, at least on the lowest settings, it's a little bit rough, especially when it comes to the shadow quality in the game. It's really, really poor, and a lot of things are just noisy and shimmery, and you can see a ton of shadow artifacts on the screen. Like, that's blinking all over the place over there. My neck has a really weird shadow as well. Can we actually go down there? Wait, oh boy, okay, yes. Oh my god, that is a very weird way to dive, buddy. Holy crap. Oh wait, did I just die? No? What is happening? The water is eating me! I am so confused, and now I'm back up here. Now, the game is playable here, especially if you pair it with a strong CPU. It doesn't really stutter too much, although it has some frame time spikes here and there, which is bad, obviously. I don't like to see that. What the hell? Where did you come from? Inside of the chest? Maybe? Alright, let's go over here. Yeah, forests don't look very good here on low settings, but hey, if you want to get 60 plus FPS most of the time, I guess you'll need to stick with the low settings here. 80-ish FPS average means that the 1% lows are in the 50s, and as I told you, at least in the beginning part of the game, you actually fight a big monster, and while you're doing that, there are tons of effects and so on, and it actually dips down into the 50s, which is bad. Still playable for a game like this, but bad nonetheless, right? I'm gonna stop it there. You can utilize some DLSS. It's present in this game as well, and FSR 3 is also here, but I don't really see frame generation. Maybe I'm just blind, but I don't think FSR 3 with frame generation is in the game, which is very weird. Or maybe you just set it to quality and it works with frame generation. I haven't really checked though, so let me just try that out. Oh my god, look at it's so ugly with FSR 3, yeah. Whoa, Jesus. It becomes the noisiest crap that I've seen in recent times. At least around moving grass, it is just insanely pixelated, and moving around like this as well. And the FPS are very similar to what we were seeing, so I guess don't use FSR. At least at 1080p, it looks pretty bad. Let's disable it. Let's try some DLSS. And it's on quality, of course. I wouldn't go below quality at 1080p resolution. Okay, that looks much better, although quite soft at the same time. And, dude, Is it supposed to look like this? This is borderline epilepsy-inducing. I don't know. In the last couple of weeks, I have had some pretty bad experiences with flashing lights in games, and I don't think this one is broken. I just think this is just how it looks on the lowest settings. Like, if it wasn't for the shadows flickering, it would look pretty decent. I think DLSS actually looks okay compared to native resolution. Maybe it's replacing the interlaced method of rendering the image, and it's actually becoming a little bit softer but less shimmery at the same time. So you might actually end up liking the DLSS quality results here, in terms of image quality, of course, more than native resolution. And once again, it's getting a small improvement on the FPS counter, kind of like FSR 3's improvement here, I guess. But it's not really that game-changing. The average FPS would still be around like the same 80, 85. And it still drops into the 70s around here, even without anything going on, you know. Yeah, it's all right. I think I actually like the DLSS quality result here, since it gets rid of most of the shimmering. It's just the flashing of the shadows look terrible. Let's try to fix that, okay? So I'm gonna go here to shadow quality and I'll set it to mid. Maybe that will fix it. Yeah, it seems like it's been fixed over there on the rocks. No, it's still doing that. And it's not DLSS either. I'm gonna show it to you again, guys. So DLSS off right now. Yes, save it. See, it looks even worse. I am truly believing that DLSS makes the image look better right now. What? Like, look at the grass right here. It's so noisy. Again, it's low settings. Low settings are supposed to look bad. But the problem here is it looks bad and it runs bad on low settings, right? Look at this. Yeah, DLSS makes everything a lot blurrier in terms of the grass moving, but I actually prefer this look to what we were seeing before. All right. And I think the medium shadows are definitely a bit less distracting than the low settings shadows, although some of them still flicker like that. The draw distance is insanely low, dude. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe there's another setting for draw distance of the shadows, but look at that. It's just ugly. Well, you know what? We should probably move on to the high settings now. There's only low and high over here for some reason. That's really weird as well. Like, this is the preset. Yeah, low and high. Why? Oh boy. Okay. So these are the high settings now. I'm still gonna disable motion blur and lens distortion right here. Everything else, I'll leave it as is. And I will restart the game to make sure that everything applies. And well, it looks like this. It's pretty much the same. Now, granted, the shadows don't look as crappy, but the draw distance is still small as heck. Like, what the hell, dudes? How can I increase the shadow draw distance in this game? It looks terrible. It's so weird. Look at that right there on the rock. Still noisy, still weird, and you just come very, very close to it and it changes. On high, which is the highest preset in this game. Anyways, it also doesn't seem to be getting a lot less FPS than what we saw previously on the low settings, so at least there's that. And I mean, the shadows aren't flickering all over the place, so at least there's that. I think I would probably choose to play on high, just because the FPS are so similar to low that it doesn't really matter, you know. It gets pretty much the same experience. Well, this is really disappointing, guys. I was expecting higher fidelity graphics from the high settings. Honestly, like how is this maximum settings in Dragon's Dogma 2? It looks really bad. Look at the water over there. What the hell, dudes? I mean, we're not using ray tracing, so there's that. Maybe with ray tracing, the game is just way prettier. I should probably test that out in a little bit, right? Whoa, that's a massive bug. What the hell? Okay, I just got it. But you know, the ray tracing will make it even more intensive, guys. This is the FPS, or these are the FPS that we should be getting with ray tracing enabled, in my opinion. Also, I've been to this town already. It's still stuttering a little bit. It should have loaded the things, you know. But no, it's still a bit of a stuttery mess. It drops into the 40s at times with some effects on screen. I guess smoke effects They were coming from here for some reason. Maybe the rock was farting there. Or yep, there we go. It's farting again. Yeah, it drops into the 40s. It's a little bit sluggish, not gonna lie, but I guess it's playable for the type of game that this is. I'm gonna use DLSS on quality next. It makes the game look a lot softer again, but it also gets rid of the noise effect, so yeah, I guess I'll go with DLSS. I think I prefer the look of it. It's personal preference, really. Do you prefer over-sharpened or super over-sharpened things that actually become noisy? Or do you prefer a little bit softer looks, but it's still sharp and has no noise? I think I would go with the latter. So I think DLSS is probably great for me. I would play like this. And instead of getting like 50, 55 FPS over here in this area, we're now up into the 60s and 70s. Still drops into the 50s though, as you can see right there with those effects. Yep. Yeah, lower 60s, higher 50s, but we're getting 69 on average, so that's absolutely perfect, my friends. You should probably use these settings with the RTX 3060. But hey, I guess they just didn't really care at all about the PC performance, because even the developers said that PC performance is quite rough. Maybe this should have launched in early access on PC. I really feel like it should have, because graphics are broken on low settings. They're kind of bad looking still on high settings. Draw distance is insanely low. Oh, it still flickers. Great stuff. It is amazing to see. Look at that. How is this high settings in a 2024 title? And I'm sure I will have a couple of comments down there saying that, oh, the 3060 is just getting old. Get over it, man. It's like 3 or 4 years old at this point, I think. Something like that, right? I'm not remembering the correct date at the moment. 3 or 4 years is certainly a long time in technology, yes, but these GPUs were awesome when they came out. The 3060 wasn't really that awesome, but it was doing 1080p ultra settings, 60 FPS plus in most games back in 2020 and 2021. And even 1440p high settings with 60 FPS or medium settings with 60 plus FPS all of the time. So it certainly has the power to deliver great experiences at higher settings. And now in 2024 we're getting this with these visuals and this performance. Like, if the visuals were great, sure, we could argue that the 3060 is getting old. But the visuals don't look better than most of 2020 and 2021 titles. So I guess that's about it for 1080p resolution, since we can't really get 60 plus FPS 100% of the time. I mean, it's close-ish over here, 77 on average, 54 1% lows, with a couple of stutters here and there. It's not amazing, but it's passable, I guess. I would probably play like this once again. Well, let's just fight these guys. But I think I will try it with 1440p resolution high settings as well, because since we can't get stable 60, maybe at 1440p with these visuals and DLSS as well, it could possibly play pretty well at like a 30 FPS locked and give a console-like experience. So yeah, I'm gonna stop it there. Oh my god. Okay. Well, we died. Okay, here we go. 2560 by 1440. DLSS is now turned off, and we're using the high settings here. And I'm not gonna test the low settings, because, you know, the game looks bad enough on high anyways. It looks definitely quite a lot better here at 1440p, but it still has a lot of issues in terms of the noise, the visual noise. It is really bad still, which is kind of weird. Are you almost dying, buddy? Please don't die. Come on. All right, almost killing this one. There we go. This was their chief. At least he had the most armor on. Let's go. Let's do this. Not stuttering still here at 1440p. And the VRAM is still very much under control. It's at around like 7.5 gigabytes of usage there. So at least there's that. At least it doesn't consume a ton of VRAM, right? Although at 1080p high, I was seeing like 8 gigabytes, wasn't I? Maybe it will start creeping up as we play and load in more textures and stuff like that. Oh, what the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? Okay, one of us already died. Digi died. That's terrible. This is the most terrible game ever. And the other one already died as well. I'm just walking around seeing the FPS and stuff, and my boys are all dead. And now there's Jack as well trying to kill me. This is terrible. It's terrifying. And the viewing angles are so bad as well, by the way. Like, I wish we could adjust FOV, but I didn't find a way to do it. And now there's a freaking troller after us. So many things happening. Well, that's actually pretty good. That's pretty awesome. Okay, I'm dead, I think. You can get 30 plus FPS at 1440p at least. Over here, by the way, it seems to be a little bit more intensive than the other areas, and it's getting like 30 plus. I guess maybe if there was some smoke effects around here, it would drop from 30 FPS, or maybe into the low 30s, which is a bit concerning once again, but I mean, it should be playable. All right, let me just enable quality DLSS, see if I can get rid of the over-sharpening. It's still happening here, you know? And yeah, it's definitely looking quite a bit better in my opinion, and getting around like 10 more FPS. Same kind of improvement that we saw at 1080p resolution. Please shut up. Why do you interrupt me? Okay, I will accept it. I don't care. 60 FPS sometimes. We can touch that. It's not terrible. Again, it's just terrible for the graphics. It shouldn't be this intensive, guys. Well, I guess it's time to see if the game looks good with ray tracing enabled. Please look good. All right, we're back to 1080p resolution, quality DLSS, using ray tracing now, which is just ambient lighting ray tracing, apparently. It's not like reflections and stuff. Oh my god, what the hell? It has more of a bloom effect this time. What the heck is going on? What is this ray tracing implementation? And it's getting 40-ish FPS, so around the same FPS as like 1440p with DLSS quality, but now at 1080p with DLSS quality. It sort of looks like it has more bloom. I hate this guy, man. I hate it. Refuse, shut up. Anyways, it seems like ray tracing is pretty intensive as usual. It doesn't look very good, and I guess it's not really worth enabling here with the 3060. Just play at high quality DLSS 1080p. That's what I'd choose with the 3060. If you want ray tracing without DLSS, this is the FPS that we get here. It's pretty much the same thing. It doesn't really change much. I guess the only good thing I will say about the optimization in this game is that it doesn't stutter too much. It could be worse in terms of stuttering. So there's that. Thanks very much for watching this. See, can I just die in peace, please, without you interrupting me? 2 freaking windows popped up because I died. Catch you in the next one very soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.